Hey, welcome into the Stink Truth Podcast. Mark Schlereth alongside Mike Evans and Championship City here in Denver, Colorado, as the Nuggets won their first NBA title in 47 years. And I feel like I got to be honest with you, Mike. I got to be so. Let me just tell you kind of how it works as a former professional athlete. I was a huge football fan as a kid, and I followed the Steelers because when I grew up in Anchorage, Alaska, the morning game would be the Steelers. The afternoon game would always be the Cowboys. And, I'd watch the morning game, and then we'd go to church. And so the Steelers were my team as a kid, and they were winning championships, obviously, so they were easy for me to root for. But those are the guys that were heroes in my life. Those are the guys that I wanted to become like. Those are the guys that inspired me to live out this childhood dream of being an NFL player. And that was really the last time that I was truly kind of a fan. And I've got to tell you, this run of the Nuggets, for whatever reason, maybe it's because I have a relationship with the head coach, Michael Malone, but, dude, I was living and dying with every shot, with everything that went down. This whole run to a championship for me, I finally kind of understand that some of the stuff that I've scoffed at, like, oh my gosh, you guys are so emotional about it, right? I finally, I was a real fan during this run, even more so than I was last year with the Avalanche's run to the championship. This was a really cool thing for me.
So now, with all the fans out there watching, football fans, you now understand where they're all coming from. With the passion,
I have a better understanding.
Anger and the enthusiasm and the fanaticism that surrounds their love for their team, you now have a better understanding of.
I have a better understanding because I felt it. I felt it over the course of this run. I felt it as I was in different parts of the country doing events and watching the Nuggets play and being surrounded by Laker fans and just talking smack. It's been a different experience for me, and it's felt really cool. So congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. I feel like we all here in Denver won a championship.
And congratulations to Stan Kroenke, who is on a heater now.
Oh, my gosh, right?
With the Rams, the Avalanche, and now the Nuggets. Is Stan Kroenke the best owner in sports?
Right. Now, wait, you left, now you're going to piss off soccer guy, right? Was it soccer guy or no? Not soccer guy.
Well, he owns
Mammoth.
Well, no, he owns a indoor lacrosse team.
Right. The Mammoth are the ones that won a championship
during that run. Yes. And he also owns a soccer team.
But that's lacrosse. Sorry, never mind. Okay, soccer fan, forget it. We don't like you anyhow. What a heater this guy has been on, right? I mean, he won a world championship for 21 season, but 22 for the Rams, then 22 for the Avalanche, and now 23 with the Nuggets. I'll tell you what.
That's not by accident.
No.
So what is it about this guy as an owner that allows him to have the success that he has?
I think the biggest thing is when it comes to championship organizations, ownership, not just appointing people, but empowering people to do their job. I think the thing that's interesting to me is, the Rams. He hired Sean McVay, but he empowered Sean McVay to be the grand poobah of all things football, right? And in combination with Les Snead, their GM, they went about winning a championship not by organically home-growing the team so much, and they had a lot of those organic guys, but they went out and got, Matthew Stafford. They went out and got Andrew Whitworth. They went out and got guys to fill the void, right? They went out and dumped their draft picks and said, hey, we're going to throw caution to the wind. We're going to try to build this thing through free agency and put a team together that can win a championship. Now, some of it, obviously, Aaron Donald was a draft pick. There's a lot of draft. But, most people would tell you in the NFL, in NFL parlance, that they buck the trend, right? Well, you mortgage the future and blah, 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 right? Who cares? We won a championship. But you look at the Nuggets and the way the Nuggets were constructed. The Nuggets are, and same with the Avalanche, they're pretty much organically homegrown.
Yep.
With
Draft and develop.
And of course you make a few trades here and there and you get a couple of guys along the way, but it's really about your core philosophy of we're going to home grow these guys, we're going to draft them, we're going to develop them, they're going to grow together, and they're going to become bonded. And I think that's the thing for me that's so special about the Nuggets is I love that kind of relational aspect of what they do and the fact that these guys are sold out for one another. Like there's nobody it's amazing what you can accomplish when nobody cares who gets the credit. And that's truly like Aaron Gordon, case in point, not that he was homegrown, he was traded for, but he was a 4th overall pick from Orlando. He was their leading scorer. He was that guy.
He was the guy.
Right.
The man.
Then you come to the Nuggets and go, hey, guess what? That's not going to be your role here. You're going to be the defensive stopper. We're going to put you on the toughest matchup every night, night in and night out. And there'll be nights where you score 27 like you did in Game 4, and then there'll be nights where you score 4 like you did last night in Game 5. And guess what? You're going to help us win a championship that way. And he embraces it as he's running around shirtless, right, after the game downtown, like celebrating with fans. It just is an incredible run by the Denver Nuggets, so congratulations to them.
Absolutely. And Stan Kroenke, I guess maybe it sounds like a simple formula to follow, but it's amazing how many owners don't. Hire good people and let them do their job.
Well, because
and stay out of the way.
Maybe because Stan Kroenke is not a friend of the camera. Like, I'm not calling him ugly. Not beautiful, but I'm not calling him ugly. I'm just saying that he's
a little socially awkward.
Uncomfortable. So Lisa Selters is doing the interview, and here's the mic, and she's like, gives it to him, and he goes, and he gets right like in her ear, and he's like he's whispering. She's holding the mic, and he's talking in her ear, not like addressing the 19,000 fans that are still there. Like it was a strange interview. Maybe that's why he's not in the forefront of anything. Hire somebody else to do that stuff so I can just sit back and collect championships.
A lot of stuff happening. A lot of news. Always news being made in the NFL. Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
How...
Boy, doesn't it go to show you the value of the running back position?
Get your money when you can.
Like what? But honestly, like from a business model standpoint, why would you? Like, why would you invest heavily in a running back? You draft the guy, you eat him up for 4 or 5 years, then you cut him loose.
Yeah.
Like Dalvin Cook is 27. He's had 4 straight seasons of 1,000 yards or more. And look at hey, man, it's been a good run. Thanks for your,
But that goes hand in hand, though, with how I guess the position is viewed now.
Sure.
Because there was a time when running backs were all you had to have one.
Right.
So is it's not really a reflection on these guys as players. It's just the way that the role is now.
Right. I was part of the NFL when you had to have a fullback that was essentially a glorified guard, right? And then basically 3/4 of the team didn't even have one on their roster. It just became it went the way of the dodo bird, right? It just became extinct. And now it's coming back, but they're more hybrid players. They're pass catchers. They're guys that fullback slash. They can play kind of that movement H-back tight end type of but they're difference making type of fullbacks. They're not other than the Baltimore Ravens, they're not the big brawny, run it downhill and smash you in the mouth type of fullbacks. So it's the evolution of the position. And now you look at it like Saquon Barkley is disgruntled. You got Josh Jacobs with the Raiders who's disgruntled. You've got Dalvin Cook. They just say, hey, see you around sometime. Thanks for all the service.
Ezekiel
you were
Elliott,
awesome.
looking for work.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing for NFL teams is you understand the shelf life of this position. So they're like, well, why would we invest right now? Like, if I'm going to get a running back, I'm going to wait until after the first week of the season, rely on some of my young guys early, and then those guys will be ready, and I'll grab them, and I won't have to guarantee their contracts, and I'll pay them a 1-year deal, and, we'll throw them a couple $1 million, which is like scraps off a Longshank's table, and then, like, you'd be good. Like, let's roll. Like, it's a position that has just been devalued, and it's a shame because Saquon Barkley – like what he did, and I called several Giants games last year. Like, we always want to make it about genius and about how this coach is so smart, and this is like Brian Dable calls down to the coordinator and goes, hey, you know what I'm thinking? Give it to 26. Like, give it to him. Like, hand it to him, pitch it to him, throw it to him, and then hand it to him again. And then pitch it and throw it and toss it. One time working in changeup, toss it to him. Toss it. Like, I mean, that's their game. Like that, they're wearing people out. But you keep playing that way. How long do you last?
But the coaches are acknowledging the importance of these guys, the value of these guys. By the way, they're just just with Saquon Barkley, with the way Dalvin Cook's been used over the years in Minnesota, Christian McCaffrey. The NFL is telling us that they still value what these guys do, but they just don't want to pay them.
Right, because they're telling you the value is great in what they do, especially in a league that, emphasizes the passing game 65% of the time. When you can run it and you've got a back that has the versatility to be a 3-down guy, so there is no tell. So we're running it, we're throwing it. Hey, it's 3rd down and 6, and the run is still open. Hey, it's 3rd down and 4, the run is still open. We don't have to throw it, but we can throw it. We can do whatever we want. The value of those guys is huge, but they're also telling you at the same time the shelf life of these guys is limited. And so,
are they telling us that the shelf life is limited, or it's easier than you think to replace these guys and still get the same kind of value that they provide?
Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe a little bit of both. In that, I've always said this goes way back when I first started. When I first started in television, and I used to piss off Merrill Hodge, a good buddy of mine. I love Merrill. He's one of the great people and a great
wide tie.
Yeah, the great football analyst, Merrill. But I'm always like, oh well, it's the easiest position in football to transition from college to pro, right? Hey. Here it is, hand off to the right, go. If you can see it and you can feel it, and just used to irritate Merrill to no end. But I do think that we see in football in general, great running backs in college, and they transition pretty readily. Even guys that are late round draft choices, they seem to be able to, if you've got a natural instinct and natural vision, it seems like a lot of those guys seamlessly transition to the NFL, probably more so than any other position. Would you not agree with that?
Right.
So I think that's part of the deal, to where you say, hey man, the learning curve at this position, maybe in pass protection, a couple other things is there's a learning curve there. But if it just comes to straight running the football and doing some things, catching the football out of the backfield, doing all that this is one of the positions that transitions, like the game matches, if you will. Like it's not such a stretch like it is for a lot of receivers, or it is like for a lot of offensive and defense or offensive linemen, for the quarterback, right? This is one position that really kind of translates.
So if you're the Giants, what happens here? Because they put the franchise tag on him. Barkley is reluctant to sign it. Giants are reluctant to give him a long-term deal.
Right.
So we got the classic game of chicken going on right now.
Yeah.
Who wins? What is Barkley's importance to the Giants?
Right.
And all those things you just said about how this is a message that the NFL is sending, but in this case, are the Giants in a position where they have no choice but to pay this guy?
Right. I think it's a very interesting kind of game of chicken, as you described it. And with Barkley, he's such a huge part of that offense, both running the ball and catching the ball. And then let's face it, Daniel Jones had his breakout year, and they paid Daniel Jones. His breakout year came with 15 touchdowns and 7 touchdowns rushing. And let me tell you, he was really good in an offense that was, simplified and really relied and ran through the actuator of that offense, which was Saquon Barkley. So how much of his success, Mike, you have to ask yourself, if you're the Giants, how much of Daniel Jones' success was directly attributable.
Nailed it.
2 in a row. How much of his
wordsmith?
Yes. How much of his success can you pin on Saquon Barkley and the way defenses have to account for him? And I would tell you a lot. So I think they're kind of in between a rock and a hard. Can you come up with something that satisfies Saquon, but also is very manageable with outs after maybe 2 seasons?
So it's as simple as this. If you have a stud at quarterback, running back position is move them in, move them out, right? If you're not sure you have the quarterback, now maybe the running back becomes a little bit more important. You know where they don't have to worry about the running back? Buffalo. They have Josh Allen, cover boy now for the next Madden game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And by the way, you're watching somebody who once had a 99 rating on Madden. One of the few people who ever had. Now, was it back then they were giving out 99s like candy?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think a little bit
more stringent now these days.
Yeah, they were just like, you get a 99. It was like a Christmas episode of Oprah. You get a 99. You get a 99. You get a 99. But I had a 99.
You had a 99.
Yeah,
you can
so
always
don't mess with me.
Mark will always have his 99.
That's right. Yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, Josh Allen. Yeah.
Pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, but there's a guy too.
Where's he at right now?
Yeah, there's a guy right now that I think probably it's interesting, kind of the career trajectory that he's been on. So he comes in with a lot of question marks about accuracy. Really, he's kind of a run first, almost like what Daniel Jones did, right? Then he becomes this big time, over the top, just throw it into a tight window guy, and then. Here, even last year, questions about decision making in the red zone and interceptions in the red zone and da 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 da. And so, and then the question mark also is, man, how much more are you going to run this guy? Like when we think about running quarterbacks, you think, wow, Jalen Hurts, he ran the ball a lot, or what? Like you look at Josh Allen, man, he's number one. He's number 2 or 3 when it comes to rushing yards and attempts and everything. He's right there. It's Jalen Hurts, it's Josh Allen, then it's Daniel Jones, and then it's pretty remarkable. And I understand that he's 6'5" and he's 250 and he's really smart and all those things. But what's the overall shelf life of that dude? Because eventually, you know what's going to happen? Eventually, someone's going to catch you. Somebody's going to get you. They're going to catch you, and then it becomes problematic.
So, where is Josh Allen now? Give me some comps, I guess, with other quarterbacks in the past that maybe you feel comfortable saying this is where Josh Allen is right now at this stage of his career in terms of what's next. Are we talking about a Dan Marino type? Are we talking about a Dan Fouts type? Somebody who's an undeniable, great quarterback and is easily talked about as one of the top quarterbacks.
Yes,
in the league
every year, MVP candidate.
But they got to take that next step.
You got to get over the top. The guy that popped into my head right off the bat was Steve Young.
Okay.
And Steve Young was really, when he came in, he was scrambling around in Tampa, doing all those things. Started his career in the XFL at the or not XFL, but USFL, I think, with the LA Express, if I remember correctly. And then when he came in, ran around, did all those things. Then in San Francisco, had to sit behind Joe Montana, kind of continue to learn the game and compete with Joe Montana. And early, there was a lot of, even in his San Francisco days, there was a lot of big scrambles and a lot of, hey, you got to protect yourself. Then we became an absolute surgeon, just ripping people apart in the passing game. And I think there's a similar kind of, storyline, if you will, with Josh Allen. Now, I truly believe that Buffalo needs to take some pressure off of him, so it doesn't always have to be Josh Allen. Like I always kind of resonate with one of the things that Elway told me when we were playing together is like he got to a point later in his career where it's like your guys' job is first and second down. That's not what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys go play. Go play, pat you on the head. You guys go ahead.
I can hear John saying that, by the way.
Guys go. Yeah. My job is third down.
Yeah.
My job is to convert. My job is critical situations. But I think one of the things that over the last year or so, 2 years of calling games, one of the things that I find with really good coaching staffs and really good play callers is they all have this same kind of philosophical approach. They may have different language when they describe it, but it's all about they call breather plays. Like, what are we going to do to take the pressure off our quarterback in certain situations? So, hey, man, if we're going to play 65 plays, right, 40 of those is going to be intense pressure on him to diagnose the defense, read the defense correctly, throw it where they ain't. Who are we going to put in conflict? Is that guy actually in conflict? Do I throw it short? Do I throw it deep? Like all the different things that you have to do as a quarterback, right? And manage the game and manage the clock and manage the time. I've got to have, some people call them tank plays. I've got to have, if it's 40 times they're going to be under duress mentally, that I have to have those 15 plays that take that mental stress off of them. Where it's a call it and run it, just hand it to the running back. Call it and run it, just pitch it. Call it and run it, just throw a bubble. Like, it just becomes a no-brainer. You don't have to think on this one. Just execute the play. And I think that's a big part of the next step for Josh Allen is everything is on this guy, to me. And there are no, mental breaks for him. And at some point, you've got to call a game that takes that pressure off of that guy. You've got to be able to get in the red zone and say, hey, man, we got this. We're just going to cram it down somebody's throat. And it doesn't have to be, hey, find the right matchup, get to the right matchup, get to it on time. And you got to win your one-on-one. At some point, you've got to take a little bit of pressure off the guy.
It's an interesting time for guys like Josh Allen because we just came off a 20-year run in the NFL where, the championships were dominated by really only a few guys. Mm-hmm. You had Brady, you had Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger were all multiple Super Bowl winners, and then you had the guys who were able to pick one out. You had your Breeze, you had your Flacco, Rodgers. But I wonder, do you see, over these next 20 years, is it going to be similar in that, hey, you're only going to see maybe a few quarterbacks kind of dominate the Super Bowls, and everyone else is going to be trying to pick up scraps.
Yeah.
Do you see that same kind of scenario unfolding? Because there are a lot of talented quarterbacks out there. Is it going to be spread out, or are we going to continue to see just maybe 3 or 4 guys kind of dominate the hardware?
Yeah. If you go back through history, Mike, you go back to the 70s.
Yeah.
It's Terry Bradshaw and it's Roger Staubach, right?
Yeah.
You go to the 80s, it's Joe Montana and Steve Young. The Redskins did it with 3 different quarterbacks, and Theismann and Doug Williams and Mark Rippon. But for the most part, it is always a handful of guys. Mm-hmm. And I think the crazy thing is we tend to put so much on the quarterback position, and rightfully so. I mean, the quarterback position is of course of ultimate importance, but it really comes down to team. It comes down to who's got the best team, who's got the best culture, and who can dictate in critical situations. So, I always used to get in this argument back in the day with Philadelphia Eagle fans. They hated my guts. They'd lead the league in rushing, and I used to say it all the time, sometimes on purpose, just to get under their skin, because you know how
Mark Schlereth, right? Snark.
So they'd lead the league in rushing, in yard per carry and yard total yards. I'd be like, well, the Eagles don't know how to run the ball. An Eagle fan would go crazy, just crazy. What do you mean we lead the league? Run the ball is not on a 3rd down and 7 handing it to Shady McCoy and popping one for 56 yards.
Right.
You know, you've got 21 rushes, 19 of them were for 2 yards or less. Then you had 2 breakouts, and all of a sudden you have 142 yards rushing. That's not running the ball. See, to me, the great football teams can dictate in certain situations. So when you know we're running it, and I know we're running it, and everybody in the crowd knows we're running it, and you got the line of scrimmage stacked up, guess what we're going to do? We're going to run it down your freaking throat. Or when everybody and their brother's uncle knows you're going to throw it and knows you got to get 12 yards, and you can hold up in protection, you can stymie them on the line of scrimmage, and you can get your quarterback to get to that third receiver who shakes somebody loose and just throws an absolute pellet. Like, those are the teams that will win. And that's a really hard thing to do.
This might be a hard question, or maybe it might be easy, but I'm going to let you have a little fun with it.
Okay.
All right, let's say over these next 20 years, we only see 4 repeat champion quarterbacks.
Okay.
And I already give you one.
Right, Mahomes.
With Mahomes. So you only have to give me 3 more. Who are the other 3 quarterbacks? If we just came off Brady, Peyton, Eli, and Ben as your repeat Super Bowl winners over the last 20 years, give me your 4 quarterbacks over the next 20 years, 15, 20 years that you think win multiple Super Bowls. And I already gave you one.
Mahomes, obviously. There would be, my next guy would be Burrow.
Burrow, okay.
Burrow would be my next guy. Jalen Hurts, and that's not only Jalen Hurts and what he was able to accomplish, but that is the respect I have for how Philadelphia has built their football team.
Yep.
Like, those dudes are, like, you know, they don't let attrition ruin a strength on their football team. You know how hard that is? Mm-hmm. How hard it is for an organization to go, wow, our O-line or our D-line is really solid. We don't have to draft there and build anymore. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, you look at it and go, how do we get old? How do we get broken? Well, we're not good there anymore. And we didn't develop any players. We didn't draft anybody. We didn't develop anybody. And now we're screwed. Like, Philly has done a really good job of going, hey, we're really strong there. Let's fortify it. We'll lose somebody in free agency. Let's build it, right? Same with the D-line. They understand the line of scrimmage. And I'd go the last one, if you asked me to go 4, would be Josh Allen.
Okay.
So it's very much like what you said. We got 3 in 1, right? You got 3 AFC quarterbacks in 1, with Eli Manning being the one from the NFC.
That's right.
And it was the same thing here with the AFC. We got 3 AFC guys and 1 NFC guy.
So let me see now. You're telling Dak Prescott in Dallas, Justin Herbert in the Chargers, Lamar in Baltimore, Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, Tua in Miami. Let's keep going. We'll go with Aaron Rodgers in the Jets. We'll go with Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, all these quarterbacks that teams are investing
Justin
in.
Fields.
All these teams, you're fighting for scraps over the next 15 years.
And if you can get one, I mean,
Great. Magical
That's
season.
awesome.
But,
Yeah.
but you don't see any of these guys I just listed as being multiple Super Bowl winners. That is reserved for Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Hurts. Okay.
That's kind of where, I mean, I don't know anybody else in the NFC. I was just, that was all off the top of my head. But you see, I mean, I don't see Daniel Jones. I don't see, like, Kyler Murray doesn't do it for me. I don't. Geno Smith, no. I mean, Brock Purdy, is he going to win multiple championships? Like, they might win one because I think San Francisco is coached exceptionally well. I think
Jordan Love.
They built Jordan Love in Green Bay. Do you believe in Jared Goff in
Sure.
Detroit?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, as long as they played the Super Bowl at 11 o'clock
in the morning,
11 o'clock
or
in the
noon?
morning, yeah, with no TV cameras. Like, I think that
that's cool.
Right? I think that he'd have a chance, but.
Viking fans,
Unfortunately,
that's Mark Schlereth right over there.
I mean, I have played in 3 of them. Unfortunately, they play those things in prime time.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know that in Minnesota.
You are aware of that.
Yes, you are aware. They do play those things
It's
in prime
dark
time.
out when you play.
I played one in Minnesota.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
anyhow,
that's a great question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is like, and you're right. It does seem like there'll be scraps, but it does seem like those, go to 3 or 4 quarterbacks with, and obviously those quarterbacks have a lot to do with how good those organizations are. But anyhow, hey, listen, for everybody involved in the Stinking Truth podcast, thank you so much. Please share it with your friends. Download it, subscribe, do whatever you guys do. For Mike, I am Mark. We'll talk to you later on in the week.